Welcome to On Your Plate, brought to you by the Mom Economy, where we dive into the real, uncensored mom stuff that no one is talking about. I'm your host, Kelly Hughes, and I'm so happy to be here today with 4 incredible moms to talk to you about the busy season ahead. Coming to an end and back to school, and we're all having a great time. With summer coming to an end and back to school, we're all juggling our school schedules, our work life, personal life, and so much more. So sit back, grab your coffee, and let's get real. This episode is brought to you by Pura Vida here in South Miami, and we're so excited to indulge in this incredible food.
Thank you, Pura Vida.
Woo! We are so happy to have you here with us for our first episode of On Your Plate with the Mom Economy. It's a little bit about yourselves. You want to start, Ceci?
Sure. I am Ceci Mestre. I am divorced, single mom of 2 kids. My daughter is 12 and my son is 10. I'm also a business owner. I own Theme Dresser, where I design these hand-painted hats and really cool clothing that I source in different parts of the world. So I'm excited to be here today. Thank you for having me, Kelly.
And I'm Brittany Valdes. I'm one of the co-founders at the Mom Economy, and I'm super excited to just be here today. On Your Plate has been a dream for a really long time because as moms, you know, we're always juggling so much and there's just so much on your plate. So we wanted to just make sure that we had an opportunity to have these conversations where we come together, and community is like what drives us. I just feel so selfish sometimes because I have amazing conversations with female founders and women in our community, and I always leave so inspired, but then nobody ever hears about them. And we thought, what a great way to come together and actually share these stories. So this is a big dream. We just are so happy that Kelly was able to just bring it into fruition. She's been so amazing. I really appreciate you, Kelly, and your vision and your creativity in bringing these wonderful women to the table. So we love you and thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Emily Fritzveloso. I have 2 kids. My son is 13 and my daughter is 9. I'm also divorced single mom and also business owner. I'm the CEO and founder of One Tribe. We launched 6 months ago here in Miami. We're a pre- and postnatal wellness and educational center, really about creating space for exactly those very raw, authentic conversations for women, as well as to move. It's really like a one-stop shop for everything you would need on the journey to pregnancy and beyond, from education, movement, and wellness, from your lactation to your physical therapy and all of that. So I'm excited.
Needed.
Yes. So exactly. Every single woman who walks in, if they had a baby 30 years ago or 2 months ago, goes, oh my God, I wish this existed when I was pregnant.
I have a question. Are you doing any exercises to strengthen your pelvic floor?
We have actually probably our most so we have pelvic core and more, which is for prenatal, and postnatal, because it's a topic that we never speak about, which is our pelvic health, where in other countries it's automatic that you focus very much on getting everything back. Here we don't even talk about it or know that you're not, when you do those jumping jacks, it's not normal actually that you have issues doing jumping jacks. I don't know, but it's really, so no, we're very much about educating on pelvic health, and then our most popular class is our vaginal prep class, which is taught by physical therapists, and really educating and moving on it, yes.
Even if you've had a baby 5 years ago, you can still kind of work on that.
Everybody should be working on it always. Yes. And no, I mean, to actually come. I'd love to invite you. Yeah, our next outing will be come. We'll all take the pelvic core and more, because yes, there's so much. But you are welcome to come no matter how long after you've had your baby.
No, because I'm the C-section mom that got lucky enough to be in labor for so long that I also have all the things like that you would have in a vaginal labor, but then I had all the other things from the C-section. So I kind of got both side effects.
Yeah.
Essentially, I need help.
Well, and I think the thing is that where we don't, what we don't do is pelvic health should be, and it's not just pelvic health, that's your stomach. I mean, your pelvic core is everything surrounding, and it's, with a C-section, I mean, you cut open your stomach. And so you need to do physical therapy to re-strengthen it and retrain it back. So for us, it's a topic that I get very excited about, and that women need to be speaking more about and not have it be sort of some quiet topic or something we suffer with.
Hello guys, so my name is Andrea. I have a daughter of almost 3 years. I'm married, and I'm also a CEO and founder of a fashion brand called Zeta. I've been in the business for 10 years. I'm living my passion because this is what I love to do. And yes, I share all this passion of motherhood and fashion and all those tips that every woman needs. And I love to be here sharing with you all this.
Okay, so let's dive into it.
With that, I'm diving into food.
The main question of summer is, how do you juggle your normal daily activity with the kids being out of school? What is it that you do? How do you rearrange your schedule, or how do you handle that?
So for me, it's been like my first summer. Gala is almost 3 years, and for me, everything is a new experience right now. She's a baby already, so I've been trying to entertain her, take her to the water park, to the shopping mall. I mean, I try to bring her to my office too, so she can have like different activities every day. And also, she's in a school that it's all year long, so they help us a lot. They only give us like 2 weeks free, so I think it's been very normal for me.
So I'm in the phase where, exactly, they start young, then you've got day camps. And that was, in those, I remember, like the minute they opened, you were booking so that you didn't miss your space. And now the greatest gift to parenthood is sleepaway camp. I was someone who always went. I spend my summers at sleepaway camp, and it's part of who I am. So my son is now in his 4th year, and my daughter is in her 1st year. She's 9, going into 4th grade, which is, that one's still, she's young, but it's so amazing because it gives you, they're in their happiest place, having the best time, and I'm here working, which I really love as well. But otherwise, usually I have them in morning day camps, so that they get busy and exhausted and run down, and they're with their friends, and then kind of leave work a little early and try to have fun evenings and things like that with them. So
I am always so excited that summer's hitting, like in May, because it's crazy May madness with the kids in school. I have an 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 2-year-old, so I have a little bit of everything. And every year is a different plan, and I usually book all the summer camps because you have to start booking in February because everything gets taken. And this year was a rough year for me, so I missed a lot of the deadlines for summer camp. So we have no summer camp this year. With 3 boys at my house, my husband and I are very blessed that we work from home remote, but I don't know how blessed that is to work from home with 3 boys at the house. So it's been a little bit hectic. One thing that I built into my schedule is Monday through Thursday, I'm dedicated to like getting all of my work done, and sometimes I'll take a little bit of extra days, but we do no work Fridays, so that every time we can do like different adventures and activities with the kids on Fridays, and we know that that's like a day to kind of hit our bucket list, go out and do what we need.
And that's why she's here with us today.
Exactly.
Friday.
No meeting Friday.
So she's getting away from her bucket list today, but we're happy to have you.
I'll be with them, and like right after this, I'm picking them up, and we're going to Topgolf. That was one of the things that they wanted to do.
Similar to Emily, sleepaway camp has been amazing for me. My 12-year-old daughter is in sleepaway camp right now in North Carolina. My son was in sleepaway camp for 2 weeks in Spain with his competitive soccer team. And, I love that they're in a space where there are no electronics, because I feel like that is such a big challenge with my 12-year-old daughter looking on TikToks and then looking at, girls and what girls are wearing and what they're doing and makeup tutorials, and I feel like it's a lot for a 12-year-old. We didn't really deal with that when we were 12. And then my 10-year-old son is really into the gaming. He loves gaming, and all his friends game. And so the fact that they're able to go to these sleepaway camps where there are no electronics, where they're connecting with nature, where they're playing activities and just being kids and embracing their childhood, I think is so important. And it's very different for me because culturally I'm Latin, and if I was 12 and told my mom I want to go to sleepaway camp, she would literally tell me, "Tú estás loca, niña. Like, tú no te vas de esta casa hasta que tú tengas 18 años o estás casada. Like, you're not leaving the house until you're married or 18 years old."
I feel the same way about my son.
Yeah, so it was very challenging for me as a mom to just drop my kids off in a different state or country and say bye and come back on a plane without my child. The mom guilt is something that I think eats at every
every mom.
Being that I'm a single mom and he's an only child, I think that's a big struggle with entertaining them. Andrea's daughter and my son go to the same school. It's preschool. We're going into kindergarten, so the reality of real schools is going to start for me really soon. And I think in general, which is a whole nother conversation itself, the teachers kind of explain that they go through this emotional change at this age, and they go through a lot. And I think, like you mentioned, how kids today at all these different phases, especially with the gaming industry, like my kid's 5 and he's a gamer. Like he's so into gaming. All he wants to do is be on the phone. I can't entertain him 24 hours a day. On top of the cost of everything has gone skyrocket, where every activity is $100. I can't even imagine, like in your case with 3 going to Top Golf. I'm like, I don't know what to know what that bill is.
Thing that I've noticed with my own kids is I would rather have them in front of the television. So when there are those days that you're stuck at home, I'm like, you can watch TV all day because there's some distance. But I see, especially with my daughter, when she's on her iPad, I start to see her brain, and I'm like, yes, it's like and then her mood, and there's something. So I'd rather go watch 8 hours of television.
Giving them access to so much, like 8-year-old kids have a phone, so many things that they have access to, people that they have access to, even the games, the Fortnite. My kids, I'm like, you're not talking to random strangers. So we are allowing our kids to be in danger zones, opening too much technology, just as much as if we were going to let them run out in the neighborhood. It's just as much risk.
Yeah, me too. I'm trying to deal with all of those things. Doing scrolling all the time. Scroll next. Like when you're watching Instagram, you're doing next, tap. It's never enough. You're never satisfied. Like she's all over the place. Yeah. It's freaking. So I think television, it's kind of a solution.
You have to be inside.
But it's still a screen. It's still a screen that she cannot manage it.
Right. So being that it's back to school, and obviously for me in my house, the mornings are the craziest. It's definitely like the most challenging time. And this will be the first year that my son's going to kindergarten. So huge changes. For me, thankfully we found a great school, but it is a little further away from the current school. So transportation, the times the school starts, all of this is a big change. And it's a lot bigger school. And then also I've heard about homework. So I'm like gearing up for a major life shift, which I'm sure that you guys already understand. But what is it that you do in the mornings to kind of like make your mornings a little smoother, or maybe some tips?
Wake up time was always such a hurdle in my home. No one wanted to get out of bed. I was the one prepping their clothes, picking out their uniforms, getting everything, having it laid out before, the lunch boxes, and had this whole routine. And for me, it was bogged down. My husband would do nothing, and I would be yelling at him watching his sports show while I had to do this 25-minute prep. And I said, no, the boys are going to have responsibility. So as they got older, they now get their uniforms, and we have a spot for the uniform spots the night before that they have it ready. Things like breakfast. My son loves making waffles, and they just started loving to do it and giving them that responsibility. He now makes eggs because we have chickens, so we get about 6 eggs a day. Yeah, so they'll go, they get the chicken coop, he makes the eggs.
Chickens at our house.
Yeah.
Their own chickens. It's incredible.
And just having them part of the routine. And then they're boys, so we also have to make it competitive. So for a while, this is when they're younger,
you have to
not
make
now.
it competitive. Who can run?
Hoverboards.
And it's so true. My son's like, if I make it a race, he's in.
Exactly.
As long as it's a race or a game. He's like, what kind of game?
Yeah,
and I'm like, the game that you go over there and do your stuff.
It's reverse psychology. We had hoverboards, and I set up the hoverboards because it was like, I need to have them ready in 15 minutes. And we did a relay, and you had to get on your hoverboard and get ready for school and put your uniform with grabbing all the items.
I love it.
They got the quickest that they have ever done, and they had the best time doing it.
Yeah,
the more you can infuse things like that, then it's like not them crying and screaming and you feeling like a bad part of it, because you also are making memories.
Yeah.
The mundane tasks are the 90% of things that your kids are going through. So make it.
Unfortunately, though, my son's going to be competing with me to jump on the hoverboard because I don't have any other kids to compete with, which always happens as the only child mom. You're the one that's going to be doing that,
Yeah,
but
well,
it's
you can set a
cool.
timer
It's
or
okay.
do
Yeah,
different
exactly.
things. Like, beat
There's
your
different
time
ways, but
from
I love it.
yesterday.
I love it. That's such a great tip.
And for me, it's like a bit hectic during the morning because sometimes she doesn't want to wake up at 7:30 sharp. So she wants to sleep like 15 minutes more, 15 15 minutes that can kill me the day. So I just leave her ready at 8:45 and I go to the gym at 9. It's a non-negotiable. I work out from 9 to 10 and then start my day. And I feel super, super good after training. It's like my therapy. I don't have the experience yet with back to school, with that.
Enjoy your season.
Yes, I think I'm a very structured woman because I grew up in a Latin home too, but my dad was super strict with me all the time with the schedules, with my homework.
When I started to jot down this new adventure of going into kindergarten, is that the schedule doesn't leave a lot of time for the kids to be kids or just to breathe or even have a conversation with your kid, right? Like it's like the schedule that I have that's upcoming is basically like 7 a.m., leave the house, be at school by 8 essentially. The day will go till 3, then they have this story hour till 4. Then if he takes the bus back, which I'm debating still because he's only 5, he'll get back at 5. Then he's gonna have sports, homework, bath, dinner, and I'm like, and it's gonna be 10 o'clock at night. And then he has to wake up at 6 a.m. again.
Yep.
And already he's wanting to wake up at 8, 9. He used to wake up at 7. Now we're going to 8 and 9 a.m. But how am I gonna push him back to 6? Now you're gonna have to start waking up at 6 and you're gonna stay up till 10 to get everything done. And we might have a conversation for 5 minutes. So that's the only fear that I have with right now what's going on in society, because when I was a kid, yeah, I woke up early, but I was out of school at 3 and I was out in the street playing till 6, ate something, played video games, did what I wanted for a while, and then went to sleep. It was a much more laid back schedule. So how do the kids handle essentially that rigorous of a schedule and that pressure? Because it makes you kind of feel like a failure if you can't keep up, but the pressure is so heavy because the competition has changed, where if you're not like ahead of the curve in kindergarten, forget getting into a great high school or college. Like it's crazy. Like it's a little crazy. And I think that are we putting too much pressure on our kids to succeed? I'm only going into this and I'm foreseeing a possible disaster.
So again, my daughter's 9 and my son is 13, and I always sort of let them lead it. My daughter, she needs 2 or 3 afternoons off. Like she loved gymnastics. She made the gymnastics team. And then I was like, I'm just going to keep her in the simpler gymnastics. There's no reason to push them ahead because it's intense. And she's so much happier. She likes it. My son, on the other hand, he loves to move. Yeah, that kid he started middle school. He gets home 3 nights a week at 10 p.m. from soccer practice. It is like, it pains me. He's just handled it. And so I think like letting them do things that they're really passionate about, don't have them try everything, see what they enjoy, but they've got to be, I kind of go with this, they've got to be kids, and there have to be a few afternoons off, and it does get more intense. So one piece of advice I have for everybody: do not start too early with competitive. Like I know so many friends who have their 6-year-olds on competitive soccer teams. I'm like, you have got so many years ahead of you. Just keep it simple. The same for basketball, the same for any sport. Keep it simple. Don't start doing those travel teams when your kid's in 2nd grade. Start in 5th, 6th, because it's long. I have an 8th grader.
Traveling teammates.
Yeah, and that is truly, so I did it with my son. He didn't actually start travel really till 6th grade, and my daughter, I'm going to hold it back because if they're an athlete, they're an athlete. If they're scholars, they're going to do their stuff. And that's why I'd say at this age, especially 5, just try everything.
Yeah.
And especially if your school has after school offerings or anything, put them in 1 day tennis, 1 day soccer, 1 day clay, I mean, whatever it is.
Minecraft class.
Actually, my son took Minecraft class in, I think, kindergarten and 1st grade, and he loved it. And then he, so I think just try everything and don't push, because they'll get there's plenty of time.
I think that's the biggest thing, is that every kid is different. I have 3 boys. They all came from me in the same house, have had the same food, and they're all completely different, and they are all good at different things. And when you want to like mold them into like this cookie cutter thing that you have the expectation of, that's going to be, I think, more of a hindrance than a help. And I've I started like with, so my son, he's 11, he's been in competitive baseball since he's about 7 years old. And with our second son, we were like, hold the train. Like, why did we start so early? And you kind of learn where you have to start and the balance that you have to give them. And also the kid, like my oldest son loves it. He wakes up every morning and he's proactive. My middle son's like, I can skip baseball today. You know, so you also kind of figure out the ebbs and flows of that. But I just feel like there is no cookie cutter approach, even in the education system. And that's been the biggest hurdle in learning for me. Is my oldest son never had challenges like for reading and hitting his milestones. And then my second son came along and I was like, oh my gosh, he can't talk. And I was very worried, and I was getting speech therapy, and I was thinking like I had to do all of these things, which is helpful. But at the same time, it's like, no, he was just a late bloomer, and now he's doing great and he's more independent, but in a different way that you weren't expecting. So I would just say it's like, don't have expectations and let them kind of drive exactly what, and you'll see what they're good at, what they love, what they're passionate about, and you let that kind of mold where they're going.
So I did see on the news recently regarding back to school supplies, now that obviously I'm going into kindergarten, and then my son also has a Spanish teacher and his regular teacher, so there was 2 full sets of school supplies. But when all of a sudden I noticed on the news it was saying the cost of back to school supplies, the average cost right now is $875 per child. This was on the news, so I don't know if that's a national average, because of course different cities, like I always say, I live in Brickell, my Publix is $1 more per item than a Publix maybe out west or away from the city. So whenever I go shopping or buy gas or anything I do, I try to do it outside of the area that I'm in. However, if this is on the news, $875 being that that's an average, I was like, that's insane. You know, that's a lot of money in my opinion. But then I started adding up how much I spent with the uniforms and the supplies and the 2 teachers and the backpack and the new lunchbox and the water bottle, and I was there. But I didn't realize I was there because I didn't sit there and like every store I went into calculate how much it was, but it was there. So I think that this is all like something that is really hard for some moms. You know, like not everybody has a budget like that. I think that it was definitely not like that when I was a kid. My mom maybe spent $50 if I'm lucky. So essentially I think that Ceci, you have, 2 kids now, one in elementary and one in middle school. I think that it's interesting to hear your take on like how you're juggling all this and handling the after school hours, how you're handling the WhatsApp chats.
So both my kids are in a competitive school. They are in a Spanish IB program and in a gifted program. So homework time, there's a lot of homework. It depends on the child. Like my son tends to fly through his homework and they both do their homework on their own. I really try to give them as much independence as possible, and I'm like, mom has 1,000 things to do. Homework is your responsibility. Teacher didn't send me homework. Like I have my own homework. You want to look through my emails? Like you want to do an Excel spreadsheet on my profit and loss for the month? This is yours and this is my homework. We each have our tasks. If you need help, I'm here to help you, of course. But I think it's important to instill responsibility in your children.
When it comes to homework, it's been really difficult because my oldest son was a lot more independent when it came to homework, where I can kind of give him what he needed to do. But my middle son has always struggled a lot with school, reading, and all of the things, and he has not been independent. So homework has been such a sore subject in our home, where it was almost like affecting our relationship because he would come home with all this homework, not be able to do it. I was trying to help him. We would get frustrated, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore because it's like affecting our relationship. So
do you hire a tutor in that case, or what's the resolution to help?
You have to find the school and the environment that works for every child. I'm like a big believer in that, because what worked for Luke doesn't just work for Liam.
Okay.
So I have found a program that he's in. It's a smaller class size of 10, and they make a lot of great accommodations based on what the child's aptitude is, what they can do, and the biggest thing for them is confidence and loving to learn, and making sure that that's the priority always, so that it's not like you're battling at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it's really just trying to find the program. And yes, I've done the tutors and the reading coaches, and then I do it. And sometimes I'm like, today we're not doing homework. And I'm like letting the teacher know today was a bad homework day, but tomorrow, you know, we will make up for it. And they've been really great on like working with you. So I think that flexibility has been important for me. And I also did 6 months of homeschooling with Liam to
amazing.
find the right program, because that's another whole topic
nother
of
topic.
discussion.
Well,
that we
it's
can
also,
chat through.
like you said, it's a battlefield, or you end up doing their homework for them, which is what you're
Oh, and
saying.
I never-
This is
Yeah,
not
I'm
your
not-
homework.
I would
It's
never do
not-
their homework for them.
But a lot of people do.
I
mean,
read
at the end
I
of the
told
day,
them, if
they
you don't
guide
do
their
it,
hand right
it's not
through the
getting
way.
done, and you're getting a 0.
Yeah. And unfortunately, for the sake of time, I'm not here to shame the moms that, you know,
No,
the moms
yeah.
have to do it with them or do it for them because it doesn't get done.
I know a lot of moms that do their kids iReady, like being in the baseball field, we're there till 10 o'clock at night sometimes, and they're doing their kids iReady, and I'm just like, I'm just not doing that.
After school, they both have activities as well. My son has competitive soccer until 7 every day, and my daughter does musical theater until 6 or 7, just depending on what play she's in. And I'm very grateful for other moms because we set up like a carpooling system with soccer, and so we trade every day. And that's how I get work done. You know, I have my period of time when the kids are in school, and that's when I breeze through my work. And the biggest challenge, or the one thing that I'm really just not looking forward to, are the WhatsApp chats. I mean, they give me massive anxiety. I don't know what these moms are doing all day. Like, are they running businesses? Because I can't even answer my own WhatsApp chats. And you know, you're a Latin American designer, so you understand designers or people that you deal with also communicate with you through WhatsApp. So I feel like WhatsApp is just such a, it's really anxiety inducing for me.
Well,
and
here
I'm just not a
also in
fan.
Miami, most people speak 2 languages,
Yeah.
being that we have Spanish and English, but unfortunately not all the parents speak both languages. So 90% of my group chat, at least in preschool, has been in Spanish. There is one mom from Amsterdam that she's like, can you now please translate the last 45 messages because I'm lost? And it's kind of a tough one because now you're like weeding through these messages that you don't understand, or you don't even know where you're at. And then all of a sudden somebody will send something that actually draws your attention. You're like, what did I miss?
Yeah.
Where am I?
Yeah, I'm that mom that my kid didn't wear the Spider-Man t-shirt to school because there were 45 messages. But like, highlight the one thing.
Yeah, can
Where's
you give us
Spider-Man?
bullet points?
Yeah, give me like Cliff's Notes, dude. I'm busy. I don't have time.
100%. Well, that's
Exactly.
definitely one of the things I've been considering for this kindergarten, to be a room mom. How do you feel about room mom?
Oh, I've been a room mom for both my kids. I did it 1 year for my daughter, 1 year for my son. Done.
Did it once and done?
It's like
One time?
skydiving. It's like skydiving. You do it once and then you're done.
You're never
That's it.
volunteering.
Never again. No.
There's so many pieces to parenting. So I really like to do the things that I like. I love the mornings. I love waking up early. I love eating with my kids. I love getting them off to school. And I used to walk them to school. Now I drive them to school. I love that time. And it's very finite. So we really enjoy it. But I don't love the evenings because it is that sort of witching hour. Yeah. So, and I'm obviously working. So I have somebody come, either carpools, whatever it is. I get home at like 6:30. Dinner is on the table very simply. And I sit down with my kids and I have like 20 minutes to 30 minutes to connect it, like phone away, and then they've either done their homework, I'll watch TV, one studying, one, so I think for me, I always try to find those things that I love the most about parenting, and when you can outsource, give it away, use that village, whatever village you've built, to do the things that you don't enjoy. So I really try to limit mom guilt.
But I think a lot of moms do feel the guilt, like you're saying. So one of the most common things I've seen that's been here, at least from the Miami moms that I know, is that 4 to 7 hour, they'll have a helping hand come in, clean up the kitchen, make some food for everybody, so that, if you are married, your husband comes home and there's also food on the table for everybody. And that's a great family hour that America, unfortunately, has really lost. So I think it's the time we spend with the kids versus like the acts, because I doubt my kid ever is going to be at 15. Wow, you did so much laundry, mom. You cooked so great. Like, I don't think he's going to care. But if I don't eat the food with him and talk to him throughout the way, then he'll care about that. Because at my grandmother's home, every week there was fresh pound cake, there was a dinner on the table. Breakfast was like grab your bran flakes or whatever they call it, and your juice and go. Dinner was dinner. and it was freshly cooked every day, and there was all the sorts, and we sat and talked. And I think that that's really, like, unfortunately been broken down in the American culture here in this country. We're losing that, and that's time that we really need to essentially dedicate to our families, and whatever our families look like. You know, we have so many blended families these days, single parents, whatever the case may be, but there's still time to be spent at a dinner table like us right now on your plate. There's nothing better than having a great conversation, sharing together over a nice plate of food, and just being together, because it's a bonding hour, you know?
Quickly add to that, unfortunately, I grew up in a household where we all sat down and had dinner at 7 every night. I feel like when your kids are older, sometimes your schedules are a little crazy and you don't have that 7 o'clock to sit down. I don't have anyone that helps me from 4 to 7 and cooks dinner. I kind of just like whim it, right? So if Julian, my son, is at soccer and I'm alone with my daughter, then Mondays we have a tradition that we go to Mr.1. That's her favorite restaurant. We go every other Monday when she's with me, and she, you know, Monday is the day that we swap. Mom and dad swap the children. So Monday I sit with her. It's our date, and we talk about her previous week that she was at dad. So it's my chance to connect with my daughter one-on-one, and then when she's off doing her activity, then I will have like churros are my son's favorite dessert, and so we'll go to like a little Mexican restaurant and have churros, and we'll chat about how his week was. So I think it's different in every household, but the most important factor is just setting aside some time to just sit with your child and chat.
But one of the things I am trying to implement is new, better habits, because I think that I've lost my habits just being on the go all the time. And I think it's great. Like, have a habit, have a schedule. Like, hey, every other Monday we're going here because it's time together. And it doesn't matter what it looks like, but it's intentional time. And I think that maybe my son's eating habits would change a little bit, because I've heard, you know, from other people that I've suggested, make a format, sit down, and even if he doesn't eat one thing, eventually he might start to eat better if you had that routine, being that he's younger. So I definitely think it looks different for everybody, but I love that you're intentional about it. I think that's
The mundane moments and like making the conversation and the time that you're just, the only thing that you're doing is listening to your child. I get sentimental saying it because it's so important, and it's the only thing that kids want. You know, like they'll eat whatever. Like the food doesn't even have to taste great, but if you're sitting there without your phone and you're making them the most important thing, that's what they want. So car rides, that's like an easy one, like to just put great music on, ask them what they want to hear, talk with them. Nighttime before they go to bed, that's the one that my kids milk. They'll tell me anything before they go to bed because they're trying to stay up that one more
Especially
minute.
the boys start, that's where they like, it's amazing.
And I'm tired and I have to send an email still, and I'm thinking about all these things, and I'm just sitting there like, I'm gonna miss this moment. There's only so much time that a son is going to share with you. I have to just make it count. So I just feel like whether it's food, whether it's the car ride, like all of the little in-between moments as a mom is the part that we have to sit back and just like, you're not promised tomorrow. Like today is the time that you have to take it.
No, this was actually a back to school tip, because I am not a big chef, and I'd rather have the 20 minutes of a fast dinner. So I'm somebody I implemented a few years ago where we have a schedule, and the kids even do it. Monday is pasta, Tuesday is Taco Tuesday, Wednesday is salmon and rice and broccoli, and Thursday is generally like the leftover food, and it makes life easier for me so that I don't have to think very hard, and the kids know it, and they're, you know, we switch the pastas, but I just think it really is helpful to have that schedule and that routine that everybody can depend on, and it makes your life easier and the kids know.
That's an amazing tip, because also I think it takes the guessing game out of it. The cost of eating out as well. Like, I saw a really funny TikTok about the fact that when they were kids, but their parents now, they realized their parents weren't just being cool for ordering pizza on Friday. They were just too tired to make food. But like, kids think, oh, it's Friday night, my mom's so cool to order pizza, but it's really, they're just too tired to make food. You know what I mean? They just ordered because they don't want to be bothered. So I think it's really good to implement at least like 4 nights a week of like some sort of substance, you know, good food. And then that way on the weekend, you can kind of do whatever works for you or wherever you're going. But I think that it's nice to take the guessing work out of it, because I think that's the hardest part, is what's for dinner tonight? Oh my gosh, you know, what am I going to make? I have to go to the store. I have to do all this preparation. Or like how you have, you know, Mondays, you don't have to cook. Every other Monday, you know, it's already like a game plan. plan.
Yeah,
really
I was
helps.
going to say the biggest hack for me is if I know I have multiple baseball games in a week and it's always very hard, like dinner time and we're in 2 different fields and we're running around, is like I do a catering order.
So hold on, Brit has an amazing tip that she shared with me this week on her meal planning, where she's not cooking the food, but tell us more about how you meal plan for
and
the
I'll
week.
switch it up. So you can do Pollo Tropical catering, you could do Chipotle, which my kids love Chipotle. I'm not a big Chipotle fan, but they can live off Chipotle. Chicken Kitchen, whatever. I'm talking about more cost effective. When you buy it as a catering order for a size of 10, you get it at the beginning of the week, and then I just put out all of our Tupperware, and I'll make it in different ways. So one will be a troppy chop. You can also do quesadillas with the chicken, and I make their meals, but with the catering food already done and prepped, and knowing that every single night that is going to be busy, they have a dinner ready to go that they're going to enjoy, and it's a lot cheaper than just going through the Chipotle drive-through and spending, I mean, now it's like $16 for a bowl because they got extra steak and all of the toppings because they're big boys and like to eat. But when you buy it with the catering, it's like $75, and you get at least 6 to 10 meals that you can have ready to go.
No, it's a great tip that I never thought of myself, but it's definitely like cost saving, and it makes it easier for you than to have to make everything. You just separate your little containers and you're ready to go. So Brit gifted us with this incredible calendar the last time that we got to talking, and we had a lunch just like this. And one of the amazing things about this calendar is it's actually an old school paper calendar. I know that a lot of us have iPhones. We have all of our schedules based into something that's digital, and there's so many great options there. But I think that sometimes just visualizing, especially with mom life, kids schedule, work schedule, it's nice to go old school, put something on your wall and have it all color coded. So Brit's going to explain this incredible calendar because we're going to have them available for you guys as well. And we'd love to share how she put this together because it's such a great helper. A helper, such a great helping hand.
But basically, it's the entire year in one view. I do it in the beginning of the year. I get all the calendars. It's actually really great to do it now for the school year because you get all the vacation dates, and you make sure that you can plan out what we call in our family our adventures, that we just keep it very specific on when they're off of school, making it count. And it gives you like a whole year view. And the way that I color coordinate it, which I can show a picture later, but is I tab out all of the dates that the kids have off, that I have off for work. I color coordinate it, and you can see when things are like super busy, when things are a little bit less, our baseball schedules, like everybody's schedule is a year view, and we plan out and we make our adventures very thoughtful and make sure that we always have time, family time built into our year.
So here you can see like every day of the month is there so that you can see everything in one page, which I think visually it's easier seeing the entire month versus like month by month, you see everything. So January is the first line and there forth. But I have I have an iPhone, and I feel like the iPhone, the traditional calendar app, isn't so easy to see visually. So I use one called Calendary or Calendry or whatever it's called. So I color code everything, and I think color coding it is so important. So you do have like little tabs that I don't see it with us today, but like having little tabs that you can put little colors on each page, you know exactly what's going on, and it really helps you to be intentional about everything you're doing. I think that that's the most important thing, especially with back to school. So I love this calendar and would love to share it with you guys as well. But thank you all for being here today. We really appreciate this conversation and hope you guys enjoy it as well.
Wait,
at
and
home
there's
too.
no Mom Economy event without gifts. So each of you get a gift. I'm going to grab it. You guys grab the microphone. Of
course.
And all of our gifts are always just mother-owned businesses, and we feature different products from mother-owned businesses. So each of you guys get this cute little box.
Nice.
Briaggio's a mother-owned brand. Her name's Nancy Twine. She actually just moved to Miami.
I just met her.
Yes. It's a 10, which is a great one to have for travel. Also mother-owned, family-owned. And the Fullest. You can buy this at the Shop Mom store at the Mom Economy. So we always feature different mother-owned businesses every season, and 20% of the proceeds go back to our grants.
What is this for?
So this is gives you kinder thoughts. It's saffron. We're actually gonna do like a whole kind of series about it because she's an amazing mother-owned business, and it gives you just an organic, healthy alternative to like helping with anxiety, mood, all of the things that, you know, us moms struggle with. And she has these little tea sachets that you can make a hot tea, and it's, yes, so they're inside of there, and and supplements as well.
So I want to say a thing before leaving. Moms, you are doing a great job.
You're kidding it.
You're the best of the best.
Kidding it.